Okay, we're going to investigate the brain here. What we are looking at is a lateral view of the brain. So we're looking at the left side. Over here would be anterior, back here is posterior. So we'll take a look at the cerebrum, some basic information, and then we'll look at the cerebellum. Okay, so when you look at the cerebrum, which makes up most of the brain, you've got a lot of bumpy structure. The bumps are called gyri. One would be called a gyrus. And the indentations in between the bumps are called sulci, or one would be a sulcus. There are some larger sulci that make very big divisions in the brain. Here you can see a very large sulcus that is continuous, comes straight on down here, and that would be on both the left and the right sides. This is called the central sulcus. That is going to separate the anterior lobe here, which is the frontal lobe, from the more posterior lobe here, which is the parietal lobe of the brain. And these would be the same on both the left and right sides of the brain. Coming back to the most posterior region of the brain, you're going to have a lobe called the occipital lobe. Over here, off to the side, you can see another very deep sulcus. This is called the lateral sulcus. And just inferior to it, you will find the temporal lobe of the brain. There is another lobe of the brain. If you were to take this lateral sulcus and spread it open and look inside of it, you would find another lobe of the brain called the insula. There is another deep division of the brain that you can see if I turn this here, and it separates the left and right cerebral hemispheres. That deep division is called the longitudinal fissure. Longitudinal cerebral fissure, or just longitudinal fissure. I'm just going to turn this so you can see that the right side of the brain looks the same as the left side. So this is the right temporal lobe of the brain. Down here we have the cerebellum, and the cerebellum has two sides to it. You can't see it well in this view, but there is a separation. I'll just lift this slightly, and the separation between the two sides of the cerebellum is called the vermis.